In this video, we're gonna start using cool AI tools to generate existing designs that we had before, a very complex design actually. And in that scenario, I'm speaking about that design in front of you guys. That design in here was made in the graphic design masterclass, in case you haven't checked that one out yet. And we almost created everything in here from scratch. So we started with some photos of berries, different berries as you can see, along with lemon slices and splashes. Then we started working on composition, lighting, and even label design and product design as well. And also we had to consider some professional tips as well, like for example lighting direction and shadows. So as you imagine, that's considered to be an advanced design, especially if you are learning graphic design from scratch. That could be quite daunting. And in this video we're gonna try creating a similar design using AI tools. Actually different AI tools in that case. We're gonna start with Midjourney and we're gonna use that design as a reference as well because we need a similar composition. Then we're gonna start using Photoshop's new amazing AI tool. It's called generative fill, and if you didn't experiment with that one, I'm sure you'll like it. So let's see how we can create a similar complex design that took us probably hours of designing. We will create that one in few minutes using AI tools. So here we do have Midjourney. I started by dragging and dropping that image in here as a reference because we need that link. Then I needed to right click, copy link. Then in the chatbot of Midjourney, I'm gonna start typing imagine / imagine. Let's remove that. / then imagine. And I used that prompt in here. It's not a long one. That's like fruit explosion in the center of berries, strawberries, and lemon slices with gradient background studio lighting. And I used also Octane render, aspect ratio 2:1, quality 2 for high quality. And these are stunning results, of course. However, I thought like using version 3 in that case. So if we scroll down, we can see that one enlarged or upscaled. And also let's go quickly and check these as well on website for better visuals. So here, as you can see, I've been experimenting with different fruit explosions in here. And those are images without the reference image for our design. And you can see my prompts in here as well. If you want to experiment something like that, once I hover over them, you can see each prompt in here. However, let's focus on that one which we upscaled in here because like the idea is the same or the concept is the same. You can use a very cool image like that or that in here. All you need to do is just replace that product's image with your own product image and you're good to go. So let's see how we can do that. If we click on that image in here, we can right click then save it to our PC. So let's do that. Then we need to use Photoshop beta version to use the generative fill to remove the part from our image or that bubble in here because it doesn't look realistic. Plus in most of the cases you will have your own product's image, so it can't be an imaginary product as in here. So currently while recording that video, this tool is still in beta, so you need to download Photoshop beta version. Maybe by the time you're watching this video it will be in the regular version. However, if you want to download the beta version of Photoshop or any other Adobe application, you need to go to your Adobe application, Creative Cloud application actually. Then here on left side you can find beta apps. Clicking on that, you should find Photoshop beta. Then you need to click install and you're good to go. And you can find the other beta versions as well in here. Those are the coming tools in Adobe applications. They are usually rolled into beta versions so that Adobe can make sure they are stable. Then they are released in the final version, probably in next year's version, maybe in the same year. So anyway, let's go ahead and open Photoshop beta version. That's our original design in here. And it had so many layers in here, as you can see. However, don't worry about these layers right now. Don't worry guys, we're not gonna go through them. And even if you are not familiar that much with Photoshop, that tool I'm talking about is so easy to use. But before we start, let me show you the final results so you can imagine where we're going. So that's an original design, human-made design if you will. And that's an AI design that we made as well, human-made design, using so much AI tools and so much AI assistance. That was made probably in 2 minutes. We could keep enhancing these visuals, by the way, but this video is all about the concept and how you can use AI tools to do specific designs for you, maybe also complex designs like these. So let's go ahead and open the Midjourney's version in here. That one. Right click, open with Photoshop Beta. So as you can see, that's an image. It doesn't has any layer. On right side we do have layers panel. If you can't find any of these panels, by the way, you can go to window, then you can find layers in here. We do have gradients as well, and properties panel in here. So we can select our image. We can start zooming in. In that case, I'm using my trackpad. You can zoom in using that magnifier as well, or zoom tool, or use Z. Then we need to select one of the selection tools from here. Like for example, we do have that lasso tool. We can select that one. That's a selection tool. We need to select that bottle in here. We're gonna go roughly like that around the product. And once we complete a circle, we do have a selection, and by default you'll find these options in here, and that's the new tool I'm talking about, generative fill. You need to be online, by the way, for that to work, and even sometimes you might need to restart Photoshop if you left it for a day or two so that tool can work again. Anyway, in order to remove that bottle in here, we will type in here something like remove. And that's it. Generate. It's doing its magic right now. And that's like magic actually. It's doing a very decent job. And it's also totally different from the content aware fill. It's so much better. And it also gives you like 3 options in here. If you can see, we have 1 of 3. That's the first option. You can also see some thumbnails as well on right side. So we can switch to see the difference. I think first one is better. Even if you don't like these results, you can generate again. However, let's keep it as it is because we're gonna place our product's image in here. So it's gonna be covering these oranges. I think they are quite too much. So let's move that one a little bit to here. And let's go to our original design. That one. Assuming the client is giving you the product's image or you download it from the internet, whatever the case. That's the bottle we designed before in graphic design masterclass. We need to copy that bottle and paste it in that other design in here over these oranges. So we're gonna select that folder in here. It's called bottle B1. We're gonna press Command or Control C to copy that product. Then going to that image in here, pressing Command or Control Shift V to get the pasted in place, zooming out a little bit. Then we're gonna scale that one down or transform it a little bit to be smaller, pressing Command or Control T, then holding Alt or Option key to scale to center or center like that. Hitting return to execute that. Now if you think about the composition, I think we are lacking on white space around our design. So if you haven't watched my graphic design series, that's actually a solid example of why you need to see these videos again, the graphic design series, because even if you can use AI to generate designs for you, you are still needed as a designer because you do have the eye to judge these visuals and to make them aesthetically pleasing as much as possible. So for example here, that's the original design. We do have a white space around our elements, which is really mandatory for our composition, and human eye tend to love that. Even with complex designs, we need some white spaces. So let's go back to that design. Instantly you can see that we need more space around that design. How we can fix that using AI tools? We're gonna use the same tool again, generative fill. And by the way guys, if you look again on layers panel on right side, you can see that that generated part is in a separate layer, so we can hide or show that layer, which is really cool. That's called a non-destructive technique or non-destructive editing technique to be precise. So let's select our background image layer again, then selecting the crop tool, which you can find on your iPhone to edit images as well. You can select that one pressing C as well. Then let's expand our canvas a little bit, like so. That could be a nice white space in here. Hitting return. Currently, if we make a quick selection around that image and use the generative tool, it's gonna generate a frame probably. It's not gonna complete the image. You feel like AI tools sometimes lazy as well. So let's try that one out. Maybe it will do the task for us. We need to select that tool, magic wand for example, and click in here. We do have that white area selected, and that area is white because we do have a background of white. That's why when we expanded our canvas, we got a white background as well. Now, usually in that case, you don't need to type anything in that place. If you just click in here and leave it a blank area, press generate, it should do the thing for you. It's gonna understand that you need to fill that white area with some elements that are matching with the original image. So that's what we got in here. It doesn't look that amazing. It's not a seamless transition between these gradients. So instead of making a whole selection like that, we can try something different, hiding that layer. And that's why it's a non-destructive editing technique, because anytime you can disable that layer and retry again selecting that background image. Instead, we're gonna select another selection tool, which is called a rectangular marquee tool. Then doing a quick selection like that, hitting return. And as you can see guys, that method is much better, so you can keep repeating the same steps over and over again, hitting return in here. And we do have different options, 1, 2, 3, I think 2 is better. Then you can select your background image, doing the same at the bottom and top as well to increase your image's dimensions. In that case, we are adding resolution to our image because we enlarged the image dimensions, and also we are working on the white space issue as well. So that could be a very nice trick if you are seeking a very high resolution, given that you are limited on resolution as well from AI generated tools. I think we do have these white spaces in here because we need to rearrange that layer to be on top like that. Then we can do the same as well in here. Selecting background image, generate. Again, I think we need to rearrange our layer to see these missing bars, like so. Now, in order to add more immersion to our product, we can even generate some fruits and place them on top of our bottle. So, for example, we can create a new layer, clicking on the plus icon in here. Make sure it's on top of our product's image, the bottle, like so. Then zooming in a little bit, we can draw a square like that. Then we can type strawberry in here. And by the way guys, when it comes to commanding a generative tool in Photoshop, don't give it too many orders. Don't say put a strawberry in here or generate a strawberry. Just type strawberry, and that's the best way to command that tool in here based on Adobe's recommendation. Also, maybe a description of 4 or 5 words will be fine. So let's generate and see what we get. So here we do have a nice strawberry in here. We can create a new layer, and let's maybe add a berry in here, blueberry. Let's type blueberry, generate. Maybe we can try another option. That one looks a little bit better. Maybe that one is better. And that layer comes with a mask, by the way. If you want to darken that one a little bit, adding an adjustment layer on top of that layer and maybe darken that one, you can manipulate that mask as well. So for example, if we add an adjustment layer, levels, and hold Alt or Option key, click in between, Then drag that slider to white. It's gonna darken that blueberry a little bit to match our composition's lighting. However, it's also affecting that part because that was generated as well from the generative fill. So you can select that mask, then select brush tool, and maybe start hiding these parts around your blueberry. Or even better, you can create another blueberry in another file and paste it in here. So let's quickly see how we can do that. Let's hide these two layers. File, new, creating a new file. Any dimensions, just not very small one. Let's go to web large, create. Then we're gonna select selection tool. Let's type single blueberry with no background. Generate. We have different options in here, 1, 2, 3. I think that looks better, so let's copy that layer. We have that layer. Actually, if you select that layer, you'll see that we do have a white rectangle as well. So in that case, we're gonna delete that mask. Right click, delete layer mask, and I'm gonna use another AI tool which is a really cool tool, by the way. That's the object selection tool. If we hover over that blueberry, it can create a selection for us like that. Then we can mask it. Now let's copy that layer, selecting our move tool, pressing Command or Control C to copy that blueberry, going back to our file, then pasting that one, pressing Command or Control V. Here we have a high resolution blueberry compared to that design. So now we can scale that one down, pressing Command or Control T, holding Alt or Option key to scale to center, something maybe like that, same position. Now if we need to darken that one a bit, we can enable that levels layer, make sure that one exclusive to that layer by holding and maintaining Alt or Option key and clicking in between. Now we are only affecting that layer. We can select our levels layer once again, maybe brighten that one a little bit, like so. We can even hide these highlights on the edges, selecting our mask once again, selecting our brush tool while having black on foreground. And make sure you are also using a soft brush, like so, with zero hardness, as you can see. And then you can start clicking around the blueberry, like so. Or even instead of doing that, you can reselect your mask. Let's undo that. I have an easier method, by the way. Let's select our mask, holding and maintaining Command or Control and clicking on that thumbnail in here. We do have a selection again. Then going to select, modify, contract, 2 pixels. Now we do have a smaller selection. We can right click in here and delete the previous mask, then remask that one again with that smaller selection. We do have better highlights, like so. We can even keep enhancing these visuals, maybe rotate it a little bit. However, let's not make it a very long video for you guys. I hope you get the idea. You can create a very complex design using AI tools, and since you do have the eye, you can judge on the composition by extending your design, maybe for more white space. Also, you can judge the lighting, the composition. I'm sure this design still need more touches, like maybe adding another fruit in here, maybe adding another one in here. Then you can add your brand's logo as well if you need in here, and you're good to go. So hope you found this video inspiring for you guys, and I hope you didn't feel that's a very technical video for you guys, especially if you don't know nothing about Photoshop. Anyway, stay creative guys, and I'll be seeing you in next one.